Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text number 3, 4, 5. Tasyar Shastram Dhanushi Prayanjutaha Suvarnapunkaha Kalahamsa Vasasaha Vinivrishta Avivishur Dvishad Bhalam Yatavanam Bhima Ravaha Shikandinaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Even as Dhruva Mahārāja fixed the weapon made by Narayanastra into his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like wings of a swan flew out from it. They entered the enemy soldiers with a great hissing sound, just as peacocks enter a forest with tumultuous crowing. Verse 4. Te stigma dhare pradane shili mukher itastataha punyajana upadrutaha tam abhyadhavan kupita udayayudaha suparnam unnadda fana ivahayaha. Those sharp arrows dismayed the enemy soldiers, who became almost unconscious, but various yakshas on the battlefield, in a rage against Dhruva Mahārāja, somehow or the other collected their weapons and attacked. Just as serpents agitated by Garuda rushed towards Garuda with upraised hoods, all the yaksha soldiers prepared to overcome Dhruva Mahārāja with their upraised weapons. Text 5. Satan prishakteir abhidhvavato mridhe nikritta bahuru shirodarodaran ninaya lokam paramarka mandalam vrajanti nirbhidyayam urdhvate retasaha. When Dhruva Mahārāja saw the yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrows and cut the enemies to pieces, separating their arms, legs, heads, bellies from their bodies. He delivered the yakshas to the planetary system, which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by first-class brahmacharis who have never discharged semen. Purport. To be killed by the Lord or by his devotee is auspicious for non-devotees. The yakshas were killed indiscriminately by Dhruva Mahārāja, but they attained the planetary system attainable only for brahmacharis who have never discharged their semen. As the impersonalist jnanis or the demons killed by the Lord attain Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, persons killed by a devotee of the Lord also attain Satyaloka. To reach the Satyaloka planetary system described here, one has to be elevated above the sun globe. Killing, therefore, is not always bad. The killing is done by Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee or in great sacrifices. It is for the benefit of the entity killed in that way. Material so-called non-violence is very insignificant in comparison to the killing done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees. Even when a king or a state government kills a person who is a murderer, that killing is for the benefit of the murderer, for thus he may become cleared of all sinful reactions. An important word in this verse is urdhvate retasaha, which means brahmacharis who have never discharged semen. Celibacy is so important that even though one does not undergo any austerities, penances or ritualistic ceremonies prescribed in the Vedas, if only keeps himself a pure brahmachari, not discharging his semen, the result is that after death he goes to Satyaloka. Generally, sex life is a cause of miseries in this material world. In the Vedic civilization, sex life is restricted in various ways. Out of the whole population of social structure, only the grihasthas are allowed restricted sex life. All others refrain from sex. The people of this age especially do not know the value of not discharging semen. As such, they are variously entangled with material qualities and suffer an existence of struggle only. The word urdhvaretasa especially indicates the Mayavadi sannyasis who undergo strict principles of austerity. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that even if one goes up to Brahmaloka, he again comes back, Abrahma Bonaloka Punaravartano Arjuna. Therefore, actual mukti or liberation can be attained only by devotion service, because by devotion service one can go above Brahmaloka or to the spiritual world, wherefrom he never comes back. Mayavadi sannyasis are very proud of becoming liberated, but actual liberation is not possible unless one is in touch with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. It is said, Harim vina nas shritim taranti. Without Krishna's mercy, no one can have liberation. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So Dhruva Mahārāja attacked the Yakshas with this Narayanastra, which is described here as flying into the enemy camp, as if having feathers, golden shafts, feathers. And they disarrayed the entire army of Yakshas, so much so that they all became unconscious. But a few of them who remained, they fought with Dhruva Mahārāja. Exactly like how the snakes, agitated by Garuda, come to attack Garuda with upraised hoods. All the Yaksha shoulders prepared to overcome Dhruva Mahārāja with their upraised weapons. Then Dhruva Mahārāja, when he saw those who were remaining were coming to attack him, he sent his arrow and cut to pieces their bodies, separated their different parts of their bodies, through which it is described here that the soul of these Yakshas were delivered to Satyaloka. And Prabhupada is explaining that to be killed by the Lord or his devotees is auspicious because it takes the soul to a higher planetary system. You all know that how when the Lord killed so many demons, their soul left the body like a spark of light and entered Krishna's body. That is explained that when Krishna kills, they all get liberation. And it is explained, revealed here, that when the devotees kill someone, then he attains Satyaloka. So devotees can kill. Which is the essential message even in the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord himself is telling Arjuna, you kill these people. So killing, not killing is all immaterial as long as it is done as per the will of the Lord. As per the will of the Lord, even in the material world, so many adi-dhaivik kleshas come about to clean the population or to decrease the population and start afresh. This is very common. So many civilizations on this earth have come and gone. Civilizations that thrived on this earth. Western world, Eastern world, Far East, everywhere. So many civilizations are known to have existed before the present civilization and totally unconnected. So continuously cleansing of the population of the earth keeps happening by the will of the Lord to unburden the earth, bhumi, of too many sinful activities. And that is the mechanism through which it happens is the Daivic kleshas, in which war is included. So of course here Dhruva Mahārāja, being a king, Kshatriya, he engaged in warfare to kill these yakshas and send them to a higher planetary system. Those who die in the battlefield will go to the higher planetary system is also revealed by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. That to fight in a battlefield is a great opportunity, and one would go to a higher planetary system if he dies in the battlefield. So Prabhupada says here that it is not that killing is bad always, but one has to kill on the order of the Lord. And then that killing does not leave any reaction. Prabhupada gives another example of a king punishing a murderer with life by hanging him. And that is also said to be doing good to the person who is hung, who is hanged. And he becomes cleansed of his sin of having murdered. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about how the soul is never killed. This killing is only the body. One body comes, another body goes. And soul is the eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So spirit soul is different, the body is different. There is a dharmic principle of non-violence. At the same time, then somebody may wonder why Krishna advocated violence. Normal moral principle is non-violence, not to hurt anybody. What to speak of killing? But normal moral principles all have an exemption. War is an exemption. Many other exemptions are there whom you can kill without getting a reaction. So there are rules as well as there are exemptions. These exemptions are directly ordered by the Lord. Rule is to be followed by everybody. And the exemptions are, you need a direction from a pure devotee or Krishna. A pure devotee who represents Krishna or Krishna, then one can take up activities which are normally considered immoral. Killing is immoral. Similarly, there are many other things. telling lies. It has to be authorized. Krishna himself told Yudhishthira to tell lies in the battlefield in a very tricky manner. So ultimately, all different moral rules and regulations that are there in the Shastras are to be honored. Otherwise, there will be chaos in this world. But at the same time, the Shastra also says, where are the exemptions? Over and above what the Shastra says exemptions, there are exemptions that the Lord himself, when he comes as the avatara, he himself commands, do like this, then we have to do it. Because ultimately, even following the Shastras is for what purpose? Honoring Krishna's direction. So when Krishna himself comes directly before Arjuna and says, you kill, he should not have argued. He should not have argued in support of the Shastras that how I can kill. Krishna is ordering. So this is a very special message in the Bhagavad Gita. Very special message that is Krishna is a supreme autocrat. Ultimately, everything is serving him. Entire existence, entire creation is meant for his pleasure. And his pleasure means is not, if you think of him as an ordinary person, then it looks like his pleasure is a selfish pleasure. What kind of God is he? But actually Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is unlimited in his personality, unlimited in his identity, unlimited in his enjoyment. When you say his enjoyment is inconceivable by us. His enjoyment includes enjoyment of all his part and parcel. Just like if I am healthy, my finger also will be healthy. So therefore when you say, when I am healthy, finger is healthy. You satisfy Krishna, you are also satisfied. This is the whole understanding of the relationship between God and his part and parcels. Our constitutional entitlement for Ananda is through Krishna. The kind of universal pleasure of Krishna we cannot conceive. The material world pleasure means self-centered pleasure. Pleasure for me. Krishna's pleasure is so unselfish that his pleasure means is the pleasure of everyone. There is no selfish pleasure in Krishna. His pleasure means his pleasure of all his part and parcels. This is important to understand so that when we say that everything in existence is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, it includes pleasure of his part and parcels through him. When we tell karmis, you have to please Krishna, they become envious. Ultimate goal of life is to please Krishna. Prabhupada repeatedly says in many places, Krishna is the only enjoyer. Now in our present conditioned state, we do not know who we are. Yes, Krishna is the only enjoyer. We as his part and parcel are also Krishna. Krishna means total, he with his part and parcel. Entire total spiritual, all the souls put together, entire existence. So Krishna's pleasure means it's a universal pleasure. Holistic pleasure of the entire existence. As you pour water on the root of a tree, the water goes all over the tree. So we need to understand this principle of satisfying Krishna, not in a material way, but we have to understand it in a spiritual context. And when we preach also, we have to explain that in that spiritual context. Because karmis cannot digest simply that Krishna is the only enjoyer, that statement they cannot digest. But it's a wrong preaching. If you simply say and make them not understand, like Prabhupada explains in so many ways. When he says Krishna is the enjoyer, he explains how we are all his part and parcel. He gives the example of the body, he gives the example of the finger. In our understanding, you are after pleasure, you are after pleasure, you are after pleasure, everybody is after self-centered pleasure. Now suddenly you say Krishna is the only enjoyer. That means you may place him also as another one person and say he is the supreme enjoyer. Then you compare, oh, none of us are enjoyers, he is only enjoyer. No, the soul inside you is also his. When he enjoys, the soul also enjoys. But you don't want to enjoy as a soul. You don't want to enjoy as a servant of Krishna. You want to enjoy in the drama world that I am this body. That is not you at all. So when we say Krishna's pleasure includes everybody's pleasure, it means anybody who is united with Krishna, then he gets Krishnananda. Now coming to the point here, next paragraph where Prabhupada is talking about Urdhva-retasaha, how important the principle of celibacy is. To understand Krishna, very interesting thing Prabhupada says, even if one does not undergo any austerities, penance or ritualistic ceremonies prescribed in the Vedas, if one simply keeps himself as a pure brahmachari, the result is after death he'll go to Satyaloka. That means simply to maintain brahmacharya itself is one gets very high tapobala. Brahmacharya is a tapas. Tapas in what? Tapas in keeping away from the association of opposite sex. And automatically you keep away from the opposite sex. Because sex is all about mind. If the mind is not in sex, then brahmacharya is very easy. Of all the gratification in this body, sex is the only gratification which needs active participation of the mind. Active participation of the mind. So, if the mind is kept away from the object of sex, then that is tapasya. And that tapasya is very powerful. One of the regulative principles is no illicit sex. Why it is so important? In bhakti also it is so important. Because without tapasya, it is not possible for the human consciousness to connect with God, to connect with super soul. To connect with super soul, some element of tapasya is required. When you read Bhakti Vedanta purports, you are connecting with the Lord. When you read the Shastra, you are connecting with the Lord. That connection doesn't happen if one does not follow the brahmacharya. Or that connection happens to the extent to which you maintain this energy in your body. This powerful energy is required for grasping the spiritual truths, to open our inner eyes of pure knowledge. You need this Shakti. That is the reason even in Bhakti Yoga, the regulation, no illicit sex. And how, as I have explained, the easiest way is to keep away the mind from the object of sex. Keep away from contemplation. Now, keep away completely is one aspect. Devotees do not take that to the extreme, like the impersonalists, Mayavadis, Jnanis. Because we as Bhakti Yogis, as devotees, we have the powerful way of relating everything to Krishna. We understand that when you disconnect something from Krishna, when you see things disconnected from Krishna, then that is Maya. Outside, everywhere, nowhere in the... everything is matter. There is no pleasure in matter. Man's body or woman's body, there is no pleasure in matter. It is our own pleasure potency which we are concocting and associating with certain interactions between the bodies, which is falsely interpreted as relationship between persons. But actually the person is the soul. It's only a role play. I am a male, I am a female. So all these things, when it comes to a devotee, he understands the total picture. He understands everything is a property of the Lord. The moment he understands that, lust vanishes. Lust is about grabbing property, possessing. Lust is about making something yours. That nirmama bhavana is cultivated by a devotee. That nothing is mine. Even my body is not mine. What to think that some female body is mine or male body is mine. Nothing is mine. He cultivates that perception, that realization. Because it is a truth. So a devotee, he sees the Krishna conscious truth of everything, not the local truth, the holistic truth of what everything is Hari Sambandha, what is the connection with Hari. And what is the connection with Hari of everything? How do you know? You know only from the scriptures. Because this is the eyes of Krishna. The scriptures are the eyes of Krishna. The way Krishna sees this existence, sees this world. And we get to know that from the Shastras. Just like Krishna says, I am sex life according to regulative principles. No problem. There is a relationship of sex. There is a meaning to sex in this world. So if somebody is a brahmachari, he should respect that role of sex. I have no role. It has got a role for somebody else. It is a role for pakka karmis also. For what? Tying them down into this material world. For tying them down, for imprisoning them. Sex is a chain that imprisons somebody. So devotee sees sex in a way in which it should be seen. And what is that? We are not the body. We are made to believe the body. And we are bonded into the material world. Neither the male nor the female are male or female. Both are souls which have no material gender. Souls have no material gender. Material gender is coming from the body. So devotee sees this as, okay, we are materially genderless. But we are playing the drama of being male, female. And that is entangling me, that is keeping me away from my real relationship with Krishna. But if it is engaged in service of the Lord, then there is no Maya. Okay, it has a role. Same thing with money, business, everything. It has a role. If it is spent in Krishna consciousness, if it is meant for Krishna's pleasure, if it is for Krishna's mission, nothing is saying that this is Maya. Immediately the Maya element in that thing goes away. Just like when we collect money from the donors, immediately it becomes Lakshmi. Unless in between again somebody makes it Maya. But immediately it comes here, it goes to the lotus feet of the Lord. We announce next day morning, this much Lakshmi. This much of your Lakshmi is liberated. I don't know, now we call the same LLP. We are still using that phrase? Yeah, LLP. Lakshmi Liberation Program. That is collection. So Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. Everything that you see has a connection with Krishna and we have to engage it in Krishna's service. Automatically brahmacharya becomes, you don't have to separately struggle, I have to maintain brahmacharya. In addition, there are social rules to see every woman as a mother. These are social templates that help us. But ultimately it's not that. There is no mother, no father, no this thing, all are drama. We are all souls. Krishna says, one who sees the soul and the super soul in each body, he has already conquered his mind. Why conquered his mind? Conquering mind means conquering mental concoctions. That means his mind does not concoct anything. He is seeing things as they are. To play this drama in this material world, you have to say that I am this body, otherwise you cannot play. Yesterday also we discussed how the key illusion, the seed of illusion is I am this body. Everybody else is their bodies. That vision, we have to take Krishna's vision. How Krishna sees this world, how Krishna is asking us to see this world. He is saying, should not see people with different bodies, their difference in identity as they actually they are is them. All are genderless, materially genderless persons having personhood features capable of thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, everything. These are all soul's activities, or these are all soul's faculties. It is stolen by false ego. I am this body. And therefore you see this material life, bodily life, worldly life, social life. It is the soul alone who is active. Without the soul there cannot be anything. There cannot be life. There cannot be thinking, feeling, willing. So we should become very possessive about each of our abilities, faculties. See properly, desire properly, think properly, will properly, act properly. That means use my thinking to think the right thing. Use my feeling to feel the right thing. To feel is my ability, soul's ability. For what to feel, you can put nonsense inside or you can put Krishna inside. Thinking is our soul's ability. You can think of Krishna or think of Maya. You can will. Similarly, for engaging in devotion service, or you can use your willing to engage in karma. You can desire for sense gratification, but that desiring capacity is the soul. So there is a misuse of soul's personhood features, and that is Maya. So separating spirit from matter means what am I and what I am not. In this body, I am the owner of my thinking ability, my feeling ability, willing ability, desiring ability, talking ability. Just like a haunted person, he talks nonsense. But where is the talking faculty coming from? From the true person. True person is haunted by a ghost. So he talks like a ghost. But actually who is talking? He is talking. Not ghost is not talking. He is talking. So in the same way, all these seeing, who is seeing? Now we are seeing. The soul is seeing. As soon as the soul is gone, no seeing. Soul is seeing. These impersonalists don't understand. They think that the soul absolutely has no senses, no thinking, feeling, willing. Their understanding of ultimately soul is different from the Vaishnava's understanding of what is soul. Soul is a nirguna Brahman for them. Not a person. But for us, soul is an irreducible person. Means the fundamental unit of existence is person. So each of us have all these, and therefore we have to identify with those faculties. I should not misuse. Everything is meant for Krishna. My thinking capacity is meant for Krishna. Wonderful. It's all meant for relishing Satchidananda in devotion service of the Lord. Instead of thinking for the Lord, feeling for the Lord, willing for the Lord, desiring for the Lord, being for the Lord, different role plays for the Lord, we have that ability to role play, to identify something and become that. Everything. You can be a businessman for Krishna, you can be a father for Krishna, you can be a mother for Krishna, you can be. So being is another ability, ahanta and mamata. That also we need not know. I have nothing to do with ahanta and mamata. No, I can engage that ahanta and mamata for serving Krishna. Just like we keep this property. If somebody comes and tries to take, we fight with them. So mamata is there, this is mine. This Hare Krishna is mine. We should have that feeling because this is Krishna's. So mamata is also used. Ahanta is also used. Desiring is used for Krishna. So dovetailing all our faculties for the pleasure of Krishna is the absolute position of the jiva, not becoming Nirguna Brahman. So entire Krishna consciousness is about purifying the content of our thinking, purifying the content of feeling, willing, all these things. Any questions? So therefore this whole brahmacharya is, no separate effort is required because everything is, his whole consciousness is filled with Krishna and Krishna's service. No separate effort is required like yogis. For them it is a very big factor. Impersonalist jnanis, brahmacharya is a very big factor for them. Very big effort for them. For us it's out of the mind because we see differently.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the first paragraph in the purport, Prabhupada gives the example of a king or a state government adjudicating exactly as per the sin conducted by the person.
Exactly?
Exactly as per the sin conducted by the person.
Yeah.
Okay, the murderer is punished to be hanged because he has done that kind of a crime. So, similar is the case with that of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is also a pure devotee. He adjudicates exactly as per the punishment to be given. But whereas here we see Dhruva Mahārāja, another pure devotee, wherein his actions are leading to disproportionate reward. So how do we understand both are killing apparently?
Like that, Krishna kills everybody as Kala. But when Krishna directly kills, they get different benefit. When Krishna kills as Kala, different benefit. Similarly, Yamaraj, when he punishes the living entities, it's different. He does not directly go and kill. It's a system. Yamaraj is the head of that system. Whereas here is a personal killing by a devotee. So therefore, you can see that is different and this is different.
This all personal involvement is
and not only liberation. What benefit people who die in the battlefield nowadays? It will be general law. Not like what yakshas were killed. They got Satyaloka. Generally it said battlefield, if you die, you get to higher birth. You get. But also that battle should also be a proper battle, authorized by the Lord, not terrorists. If you become a terrorist, then you'll go to heavenly planets. Commit, suicide bomber. If you become, then you will... yes. I had called him. Very interesting thing. You please tell what happened when you went home this time. The glories of the holy name. You can see glories of Prabhupada. Glories of dedicating life to Prabhupada. What happens? You will hear from him. Hindi mein bolo. बोलो।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, धन्यवाद।
जोर से बोलो।
ये इंसिडेंट हुआ करीब 2 महीना पहले, जब मैं घर विजिट किया था अपना पेरेंट्स होम। करीब 3 महीना पहले मेरे बड़े भाई हमको कॉल किए और बोले कि वो एक घर कंस्ट्रक्शन किए थे, होम। सो हमको बुला रहे थे गृह प्रवेश सेरेमनी में। और साथ ही करीब 4-5 महीना से मेरे फादर का तबीयत थोड़ा ठीक नहीं चल रहा था। सो बोले कि 3 साल से नहीं आए हो, सो आके थोड़ा फादर को भी देख लो और गृह प्रवेश सेरेमनी है उसमें भी भाग ले लेना। तो हम अथॉरिटी से बात करके और एक टिकट बुक किए और 6 मई हम यहाँ से घर के लिए निकले थे ट्रेन से। तो जब हम निकले दूसरे दिन हमको कॉल आया मेरे ब्रदर से, फ़ोन करके बोले कि फादर हमारे पिता हैं वो ज़्यादा सीरियस हो गए। बोले ठीक है हम आ ही रहे हैं कल अभी। तो हम उनको बताएं कि आप हरे कृष्ण प्रभुपाद का जो हरे कृष्ण मंत्र ऑडियो है उसको प्ले कीजिए कंटिन्यूस, फादर वो सुनना है। तो मेरे भैया वो प्ले कर दिए, सुन रहे थे। तो नेक्स्ट डे हम पहुँचे करीब 1 बजे 1 PM हम घर पहुँचे। तो हम देखे कि फादर लेटे हैं, उसको ब्रीथिंग में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। तो लंच हम फीड के खुद अपने हाथ से अपने फादर को। फिर थोड़ा सोने मतलब ब्रीथिंग प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, फिर भी थोड़ा सोने जैसा हो गया। मतलब एग्जैक्टली हम नहीं बोल सकते कि वो सो गए, लेकिन फिर भी ज़ोर ज़ोर से ब्रीथिंग चल रहा था। तो हम लोग क्या किए, इसी बीच में थोड़ा सा शांत जैसे लगे तो पूरा फैमिली के साथ हम वो घर देखने के लिए गए जो मेरे भैया कंस्ट्रक्शन किए थे। फिर वहाँ से एक आधा घंटा में वापस आए, आके हम बैठे थे और सभी रिलेटिव बगल में ही थे। और सडनली मैं उठ के बैठा और उठा, चेयर पे हम बैठे थे, हम उठ के खड़े हो गए और जस्ट फादर के मुंह के पास गए तो देखे कि थोड़ा फोम आ रहा है। तो हमको लगा ऐसा क्यों रहते, कपड़ा से वाइप किए। फिर सडनली देखे थोड़ा ज़ोर से आ रहा था। फिर हम फिर से वाइप किए और हमको लगा कि थोड़ा सीरियस कंडीशन है। फिर क्या करें, वो ऐसे सिचुएशन में कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था। प्रभुपाद का चांटिंग ऑडियो चल रहा था। फिर हम सडनली अपना कंठी माला निकाल के फादर के गले में डाल दिए। और इसके पहले जब हम अपना लंच फीड करके हम गए थे घर देखने के लिए, तो लंच के बाद हम चरण तुलसी दिए, राधा कृष्ण चंद्र का चरण तुलसी हम दिए, वो भी ऑनर किए थे फादर। फिर हम कंठी माला डालने के बाद वहाँ एक बच्ची थी, उनको बोले कि जल्दी से तिलक लेके आओ। तो तिलक लेके गए वहाँ तिलक लाने के लिए। और इसी बीच में कृष्णा कैसे रिमाइंड किए, मेमोरी दिए। हम फादर के कान में पर्सनली हरे कृष्णा मंत्र चांटिंग करना स्टार्ट किए और जोर से लॉर्ड्स बहुत जोर से हम चांट कर रहे थे। और करीब सब कोई क्राई कर रहे थे, बट रो रहे थे सिचुएशन देख के, क्योंकि सभी को पता चल गया कि ये इज लिविंग द बॉडी। सो हम चांट कान में दोनों हाथ से सर पकड़ के कान में करीब 15 से 20 बार फुल हरे कृष्णा मंत्र चांट की। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So while chanting, my father left the body. And
just see, 3 years back he visited home. Now he didn't go home for this purpose. He went now after 3 years. Then that very same day, all these things happened.
टिकट भी बुक हुआ 1 महीना पहले और सेम डेट को, और जब हम गए विथिन 3 आवर, वो 2 से 2.5 आवर के बीच में ये पूरा इंसिडेंट हो गया। और ये मुझे पूरा बिलीव है कि ये पूरा कृष्णा और प्रभुपाद का पर्सनल प्लान था मेरे फादर को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए। और इतना ही नहीं, होने के बाद जो भी मेरे घर में देखे सबको इंस्पिरेशन मिला और सब जो भी चांट नहीं कर रहे थे वो चांटिंग करने के लिए स्टार्ट कर दिए। जो 1 माला कर रहे थे वो अपना राउंड बढ़ा दिए। इवन मेरी मम्मी, जो हम कभी नहीं सोचे थे कि वो जप करेगी, लेकिन वो भी जप करना स्टार्ट कर दी।
So there are so many happenings of devotees' parents leaving the body like this. It's proof that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that 7 generations before and after they get liberated if one soul dedicates his life for the Sankirtan movement. Srila Prabhupada ki